Okay, once you have chosen your table, you will be discussing the 5 questions that you see on the screen. Actually, you will discuss in one of the 5 questions, the one that is hosted at the table where you're sitting. You will have time to discuss until quarter to 12, 10 to 12, so you have half an hour. And then at the end, the host will come back and will report about the 3 or 4 main ideas that have been raised at the table. So I hope it's clear. There will be no change of tables, and you have half an hour for discussion. So I leave you with the host.
Yes. No. Rachel, would you like to? We need because we need to bring it back. Yeah, I just said that I would be some maybe notes and ICT. And please try not to be generic because many people there have 2 minutes, 3 minutes after the one issue. You know, which one we get the second slide? It's the 5th. Okay, so maybe we can start. Hi everyone, my name is again Roberto and I'm working with Telecenter Europe. Telecenter Europe is an international association and we have now 50 member organizations across Europe in 30 countries. And our members are dealing with digital skills most of them. Basically they work with what we call telecenters. Telecenters are public, accessible places where people can get access to technology and to internet, and they get training, ICT training. And what we do at the European level, we try to build their capacities, so to make sure that these community centers are well equipped to be able to teach various target groups, citizens and consumers. We also try to advocate on their behalf with the entry into institutions. And we also try to attract and direct funding resources for them. So we were established in 2008, and since then we have a number of different projects at the European level on digital skills and digital inclusion. I would like to just have a short introduction so we know who we are before we go into the discussion.
Okay, so my name is Rafael. I'm from Poland. We're actually part of Telecenter Europe, and I'm CEO of the Information Society Development Foundation, which implemented in Poland the Library Development Program funded by the Gates Foundation. We deal with digital education in various levels, and we mostly focus on non-formal education in terms of e-skills, digital skills, and so on, working with libraries and other telecenters in Europe on a local level.
Hi, my name is Christoph Kaletka. I'm from Dortmund University. I'm a social innovation researcher, and we have done a couple of projects on digital inclusion, for example, with Telecenter Europe and the European Schoolnet. I'm really happy to discuss the citizens' perspective because I think this is really still underrepresented also in the discussion we had.
So I'm Madeleine Sjostinti from the Swedish Governmental Innovation Agency, and I'm program manager and funding e-government projects or projects in public sector innovation, now also trying to build into digital health. So we can see the cross-program sector. So this is all including this, but not particular of this. We are funding. I'm
Karen Padmore. I'm with High Performance Computing Wales. So we're leading Horizon 2020 network of HPC competency centres for SMEs, which skills is obviously a really important aspect in terms of the take-up. I was struggling between number 1 and number 4, but what really interests me is what are the necessary skills and understanding what necessary is.
I am George Komodromos. I'm working for the Cyprus government. I am the director in the Department of Electronic Communications. It's the competent department for the digital strategy for Cyprus. And of course the stakeholders is the government, the business and the citizens. So we are interested to improve the skills of the citizens.
Hi, my name is Ivan Stilovic and I'm representing a local NGO from Serbia, and also we are part of Telecenter Europe network, and my organization is dealing with non-formal education for vulnerable groups.
My name is Laura Batu. I'm from France. I come from the trade unions and I am the member of the European Economic and Social Committee. We are dealing with all the problems of the citizens, consumers and all the stakeholders we are represented in the ESC, and we are especially dealing with the EP and the EP, as the Minister said.
That's up to you. You've got 1 hour. End of.
So we can also make that specifically in
a gap between some that are very willing and others that are just very basic and traditional, and it's frustrating because obviously we would like to go out there and do things with the schools, but we're very limited in what we can do, so we need some public partners as well in this.
So your point is that in your example, money is an issue, but the legal restrictions, some curriculum requirements, some how a school is being structured,
It's the restriction
those are the problems.
It's the restrictions on the teachers. They would like to do it, but in terms of the time they have available, sometimes they revert back to what they did yesterday because it's...
I think it's time.
It is time, but in the end it's money, which is just the school doesn't allow them to spend in development, spend their time in development, but rather teaching.
But if we are thinking about the learning outcomes, so if we are setting the learning outcomes completely in another way, so maybe the problem could be solved, and it's really not about the money, but about the expectations, which are set by curricula, school principals, local authorities, local education authorities, etc. So if we are changing the learning outcomes from these 40 or 1 hour or 40 minutes or whole semester, so we could the teachers would be allowed to do things that our colleague mentioned here.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if that's so simple, but the curricula and the requirements are something
Yeah, I think the point about the point about the curriculum is really important, because in a way the teachers are focusing on what's being identified in the curriculum and what's being done in the exam at the end, and that's not linking to any of that. So in a way, using the technology is really a distraction, but it's really an added element that we need to deal with. So if we change the curriculum, then I think there will be more opportunity for teachers to actually focus and spend time on it. And I think the second thing about the school leaders, as you said, there's differences there with regards to how schools deal with this, and some have that visionary leadership from the school leader who provides teachers with the relevant time to experiment with the technology, to make sure that they can try it out, and it will fail first and second time, maybe third time as well. So I think if we provide that support and that training to school leaders, we'll also address that.
I would like to add one perspective into the whole discussion. I'm from the industry, from the company which we operate quite big private-public partnership in education. So we work with thousands of teachers and about 260,000 students across European Union. And one thing which we see already is the problem with speed, the speed of change. Because the industry is going faster and faster, and the cycle of technology relevance to the mainstream is shortening. While there is very difficult to increase the speed of change in education. And I'm afraid that this gap will be growing. So if the speed of change will not be in the focus of policy making, in changing education, so not only what, but also how to enable innovative teachers to go faster, how to enable more teachers to be innovative, to adopt new technologies, to adopt a new way of teaching. We already see in our program, which is industry-based, so by default it's relatively fast changing. We have to start to change faster. Our program, so in the private-public partnership, we start to see that the public part and for society at large. So how can we...
very much interested in this huge data center, and that started the program.
So what would be the role of the member state? Because the question is very much centered around the member state's government. What should the member state's government do?
Okay. That's a good idea. Since from the very beginning, the government backed this approach, somehow even stimulated this approach. For instance, this CERN data center, the Hungarian government supported, provided financial support to establish this data center. It was a very motivating.
What you're describing is one best practice approach.
Right.
That could be adopted by every member state.
Right.
I think the fundamental question is about, and I think that's one step in the practice. I think the fundamental question is how do you enable an apprenticeship program to require recovery to learn. And I think the key principle is that apprenticeships is just a step on the journey. Before apprenticeships, you have what people learn at school and university, and after apprenticeships, what they learn in the world. Because I've already presented maybe the people in cycling.
I think the key here is to sort of address the following issue, and that should be the objective, I believe. To match what is needed with what is provided. So what we did in Cyprus for ICT professionals, and we can do that, and governments can do that at all levels. We conducted a study, and we tried to evaluate what our universities offer, the different programs, whether those offerings do match what the industry requires. So I think that is key. We're also establishing training programs for people working in the industry, all kinds of skills. And what we are trying to do at this point in time, there is no certification of those people. So we are trying to introduce the element of certification. I also think that it's a good idea to establish open education programs
how do we call them, after high school training schools that we are operating to offer those courses online. Because many people who work, they have no time to take night classes or anything like that. So if those courses are offered online, then they can do them at their leisure, and it's much more convenient. And also I think that internship programs are important for especially youngsters to gain experience and get to know the profession, get to know what ICT is, and hopefully in addition to having code weeks at school, I mean, once if they go out and they work a bit in the industry, then I think that's quite beneficial.
Of the worker. I mean, I actually basically wanted to look for a job for 10 years when my kids basically 10 years, and then suddenly I have to reinvent myself. And this has repercussions for the entire family plan. I mean, how do I do this? And there I think there's in the end society, that means a state. I mean, how can we set this in a framework where we're not always running after the carrot, which is basically held in front of us without ever reaching. And I think that is really the challenge where we need a discussion first of all. We don't have this yet, really. And secondly, we have to develop changes. And I think the other point I was making, with digitalization, trying to do this in a national frame doesn't work, because the jobs will go across borders. So we have to have, in the end, a European answer for this. First of all, we have to define the question better, and then we have to find the answer.
But to define the question, should we identify what kind of skills we are talking about? Would that be very basic transferable skills, such as, I don't know, Excel, PowerPoint, building a website, social media?
No, I think the digital competence framework exists, which defines the basic skills for personal development, but also for working. Yeah, and then of course you have different profiles. You know, where the skill. It's not the question to define the skills. Yeah, of course they will change in a year or in 5 years. It's more how can you get, you know, each person that they match the skills. Yeah, and the speed is like now we talk about we miss big data specialists. It's not even for the IT companies, like for doctors. You need big data to analyze, to understand some, what do you call, hypothesis for the diseases or something. Yeah, and doctors are completely not ready for that. Yeah. Or teachers, if we talk about teachers. In Latvia we have now in plan school reform, which means that the good teachers will get more paid, but what will happen with those with the low qualifications which are not able to keep with the speed? Yeah? So it's
a good example of a new sort of set of skills that goes across large, small enterprises, but everybody is cyber. People don't have an adequate skill set, whether professional, IT, education. Cyber skills is one example of something which has become acute, but is not part of Microsoft Office, Excel, because environments have changed. The threat landscape has become much more acute, whether in your workplace, whether at home. People are not equipped with the right skills and right knowledge to deal with that.
I think that these basic skills, as you mentioned, actually in the job, 95% or 90% is sufficient for say someone in an SME, and then there comes the additional, the specialized, and that's something else. But with just the basic sort of skills, you can go a long way from even hopping from company to company.
Sorry, I have to push because we're a bit short on time. I'd love to discuss this more, but we have half an hour, so we need to. So essentially, what I've been hearing is first of all, we need to change the mindset of the people, not only of the companies, to spark this motivation and this sort of conscious that you need to be relevant to the job market, and not only in your company, but as an individual. And not only in your current job place, but for your future career, and therefore you need to train, but also keep yourself informed and up to level. What I also hear, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is we need a kind of a flexible framework that would enable both companies and individuals to pick and choose what they need and the level to which they need it. Am I?
We need to keep this dividing line very clear, because I really believe that big companies will take care of themselves. They really will, because they have money.
We are more about people.
Coursera application or Coursera paper given after you completed their course is formally, we don't formally recommend as a part of teacher training. So maybe this is, we have to keep in mind that even despite the Coursera courses are developed and prepared and organized by very distinguished professors and very good experts, that despite that governments still have this traditional teacher training recognition and requirements for those hours or months or weeks or whatever.
But I don't think that should necessarily stop us from using MOOCs as a tool for professional development for teachers, or a similar approaches to MOOCs. We've been doing, we've run 10 different MOOCs for teachers, and the kind of enthusiasm and engagement that we've seen from the teachers, and also the reported impact of what happens in the classroom is really astounding. We did a course, it's called Future Classroom Scenarios, where we looked at how can we change the classroom layout and how can we introduce pedagogy in the classroom. And as a result of the course, it's very short-term material reported from the teachers, but 86% of the teachers said, as a result of the course, they changed the way they'd organise their classroom and they'd experimented with new pedagogy. So the potential there to actually achieve change in the classroom is quite high. And I think there's two reasons for that. One of them is that on the one hand we allow teachers, by using video, and video is usually quite an important medium there, is to look at what's happening in other classrooms. What are the challenges that teachers are facing, how they're dealing with those challenges. And then they're engaging with each other, reflecting about those experiences. And I think that the MOOC as an entry point into a sort of learning community of professionals is really powerful, because especially those teachers who are less experienced, they usually struggle to become part of those learning communities. And I think it's sort of only 1 in 3 students has a teacher who's participating in an online learning community. And if we can use MOOCs to really get those teachers.
And because the digital economy is asking for multidisciplinary teams, where we have the more ICT skill, the softer skill.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but there is about future needs. So I understand that, I can take that you're suggesting public authorities should try to encourage multidisciplinary studies within higher education.
And they should connect, different.
The gentleman.
I mean,
if you agree with something before, it's easier.
Yeah, sure, I will not repeat it, One important issue from my point of view, I'm in industry since late 70s.
You were in public authorities?
I advising public authorities. I used to be CEO of Telco and Digital Champion these days. I believe we are falling into the one trap, that because technology is changing, education schema must change as well, which is a really big mistake. ICT, as any other engineering discipline, have basic skills, principles, and education, which needs to be done, from my point of view, in partnership between the state and academia, and that forms the formal education. But it must be complemented by the clearly defined certification of the professional skills in very quick period of certification. Everything what Reinis was talking about standards, this is very much about the professional skills certification.
Yes.
And nobody is able to predict what certification will be needed in 5 to 10 years period. But basic skills about, say, database design are here for 50 years and will remain. That means clearly split 2-stage type of education for ICT professionals. One responsibility of academia, second partnership, state and industry, and combine them together on the same level.
Okay, just to... So, I mean, your idea is that we take the ICT professions and you have 2 kinds of preparation, educational formation preparation. So one done by the classical academia avenue, and the second one is together between industry and public authorities.
Absolutely.
For the certification of professional skills.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And recognize those certificates as the complement to formal education, and possibility to mandate it, in fact.
Just understand, because part of the ICT professionals say they get their training, but not formal training, part of the new people. You have ICT professionals who didn't do formal training. They do what is called informal training, which is not recognized yet. You are proposing to recognize this kind of informal training?
I will give you an example.
Yes, please.
I used to be managing director of Oracle in the country, and hiring professionals in that needed two things: good basic education, either from mathematical faculty or engineering faculty, and then professional certification from somebody like Oracle or somebody else. And combining these two things together defines a good professional.
Okay. Now, lady and then Andre.
Just to come back, because we're always in the same problem with the word ICT and talking about digital. It's not only about technology, and if you go in 2020 or 2030, then I need skills in a collaborative world on what kind of new services can I create in order to make it a value for the business. And the problem we have with the governments is that most of them are allocated to roles, but they don't have a clue what digital really means. So I wouldn't say digital I would be politically correct, I would say a digital bad for governments, where everybody is obliged to pass through, because they're deciding things.
Andre, very quickly, because then I need to wrap up and agree with you 3 points.
Great open education source is that when it comes to digital skills and training, one size does not fit all, and this is because training and digital skills are driven by demand and motivation, and it should be not only the European strategy. It needs to go down, of course, to the national level and more to local and regional level to make sure that we can really respond to those needs out there of the different target groups. Also, what the government needs to do is to try to map intermediaries, existing tools with target groups, and make sure that this information exists, and what they need to do is to use those intermediaries in order to reach this
in Europe, foundation, which you have a general definition that then each country will take forward at the national level according to the needs. Second is basically government to encourage national or regional grant coalition, which means basically when you have public authorities together, you come forward with the needs. There are some possible techniques like studies, eventually a survey to be done in this context, so where basically entrepreneurs are asking to provide information.
Developing standard model for extrapolation.
Okay. Forecast predictions. That's forecast with the standard. Okay. Then, when it comes to education, so first of all, there is a plea to have a more coherent European approach, and where basically it's going beyond the side of discipline in academia, so higher education moving from one point to another,
and I think your mother and her iPad is indicative. It scared many people to think I have to save the government money by doing my tax or my pension or my whatever because these things are so important if you get them wrong that they make everyone really distrustful and worried of their data and hacking. This should have been a further down the line goal, and we should get people confident and trusting on other things first, and not try to. I know governments want to save money and having everything online. It's taught a lot of people to be really, really different.
In our legislation or whatever to make this kind of compulsory.
All governments are financed by
Study I've been an ICT professional following these trainings from the start, and then our guys coming from the business just gets a training for 1 year and gets his background in ICT.
Public-private partnership.
I mean, there it's, when you saw that evolution of the profession change. We spoke about earlier.
Can I invite the table coordinators to join me?
Can I put them in a contest?
Just sit down. Come with a flip chart. Okay, so I see four coordinators. Okay, so I see you have intensively worked. That's good. So here you see the questions. The question was one, but then each table had to answer the sub-question you were supposed to address. So I'm very curious, as we all are, to know what kind of conclusion you reached. You have 3 minutes each, and the floor is all yours. Would you like to start? I said you because you said you were very enthusiastic.
I'm always very enthusiastic, Roberto. You will see this about me. Thank you to my table, worked really well. And we concluded on the flip chart. So we were working around the training and retraining of the workforce, which was a very interesting subject, and we were a bit frustrated that the time was so short, but I'm sure everybody was the same. And what we felt is the most important thing was to spark motivation and conscious decisions that you need to take, you know, for having the skills and keep the skills up to date as an individual, not as a company, not as a member state, but as an individual, to be relevant yourself in the job market. And this idea came really throughout the debates, and we really felt that this goes beyond just the ICT sector. It goes, and it also goes beyond just the ICT skills. For us, it was really the digital mindset that was very important, and other skills should come with the ICT skills. It wasn't just about knowing how to code or knowing how to do Excel. It's really the digital mindset that we wanted to enable. Of course, to enable that, you need time and money. So we thought around how we can achieve that, and we thought that member states should have a framework to enable financing of the training, but it should be a shared burden, like certain countries in Europe, like Nordic countries have, and you know there are a lot of good practices around Europe, so we should really share those and draw the best out of those to come up with the best possible solutions. We also felt that time was very important, and sometimes time was not allowed by the companies to the individuals to be able to gain that training and maintain that training, which is a very, very difficult thing to do. So we thought we really need to allow time at workplace for training and retraining. And we also felt that these skills should be life skills for a person to be able to take with them, regardless of the job they're doing. Nowadays, you don't work your entire life in the same job, and you need to be able to, these skills you have, to take them with you at the next one. And for that, we felt that there was a real need for mobility to be solved, both, you know, in terms of companies, but also geographically across the member states. And for that, we thought that certification is really key. That's it.
Thank you very much. Well done in 2 minutes. Thank you. Andrea, you want to go next?
Okay, in my table I was lucky because I had 3 member state representatives and a commission official. So what public authorities can do boil down to 3 actions. The first one is, since we speak about ICT professional, was to agree on a European-wide definition of ICT professional so that we all have the same understanding of what we are talking. There is work done by the Commission, so with 4 pillars. The idea is that to start from there so that we in Europe have the same common understanding, which also enables global company to use the same framework in other part of the world. Now, for future trends and identification, they've been long stressed in what I will call national or regional grand coalition. So the format where you have public authority, academia, industry, but we had also social partner, NGO, and national association sitting around the tables. And there was an idea, which is I think used in Norway, to use a standards review. So use a common standard to ask and inquiring about to the market, so to business, which are their vacancy. So every year is done a survey. So maybe you can have a unified European standard to survey which are the needs. And third was a plea, which I told it was not very possible, but I promised to repeat, about member state pushing for a more European approach for education. So at the moment, education is very much regional, because of competences, trying to bring it up at the European level. The role of academia tried to have promoting multidisciplinarity. So an example was done, when you study engineering, you remain in engineering, and sometimes you need to have improved creativity, so try to have multidisciplinary training. And the role done after you want to come out from formal education by industry and public authorities on informal training, certification, and also because, as we mentioned more than once, we need to keep people updated, we need to identify future skills, so the cooperation between industry and government should also identify which are the future needs, so train the people, certify them, and recognize the qualifications. These are the 3 points.
Thank you very much. Well done. 2 minutes and 13 seconds, so well done. Laurentio.
Okay. I use technology to actually, have some notes on the discussion. Thanks a lot to those joining my table. We had a discussion on consumers and citizens and how we can make sure that they acquire the necessary skills, digital skills, in order to get benefits of the digital economy. And we had actually more key messages, but I'll just try to focus on 3 of them. The first one is that one size does not fit all when it comes to training and digital skills, because usually this is driven by demand and by motivation and by working with so many target groups. It's actually the strategies needs to go at national level and even at local level, just to make sure that all those needs are addressed. Then the second is that the government should map the existing intermediaries and tools that are available. And it's not just mapping them, but making sure that they are involved and they are supported and funded when working with the different target groups. And then the third is skills. Digital skills are changing constantly. So what government needs to do is to make sure that the strategies are dynamic enough to allow to change all the time and to stay, updated as it's very important. Also, awareness is still important. So the government needs to support more awareness efforts by intermediaries when it comes to digital skills and how this can contribute to the digital economy. That's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Morale.
It's on? It's on. fantastic. Thanks to my colleagues for contribution. And our topic was teacher training and all those challenges regarding the 21st century and teacher training and better teachers for our better future and etc. So the first of all, I want to highlight the curriculum, and it's not a secret that the actual practice of any teacher is quite tied up and tied to curriculum, and our curricula is this legal foundation for all the learning outcomes and teacher practices within our schools. So we should change our curriculums. We should loosen up this legal basis to give more power to teachers within the classrooms and to give more power and more autonomy to school leaders, to schools. But there comes the problem. Autonomy works when you have strong leaders, and school leaders and school leader training and a new approach to this one is also issue to deal with. So the curricula and legal basis, the loosened legal basis regarding this one. Second, the movement, the speed for changes. And there's industry versus education, and I think that autonomy is one of the answers for that as well. So we can tie the internal incentives for students and teachers with right environment and right settings. And this is the best approach we could come up. If this fails, then we should address more compulsory or mandatory methods, so we can set up some legal compulsory rules for teachers to deal with those 21st century challenges with those technologies and use them and etc. And then last but not least, MOOCs. And massive open online courses and open education resources, they correlate with each other. And these are tools and efficient tools for modern teacher training, for setting up the new classrooms, using open education resources within those open online courses. And I want to just underline that not just use those open education resources, but teachers should be able to create them as well. So not just find the right tool, use it, but then create and then replicate this knowledge to other teachers and share this practice. So that's pretty. That's it for us.
Thank you very much, Rudolf. So before I said Meral, Rudolf started to speak. So now I say Rudolf and Meral start to speak. No, I was looking actually.
That's right. Okay, we talked about apprenticeships and we focused mostly on apprenticeships. Thank you for contributing. I had a small group, and we have some suggestions and demands. Apprenticeships is part of lifelong learning. It's the first step in your career path. So when we look to the situation now, the funding environment is changing. So we have to find new funding models, the need for new funding models. There, best practices were from the countries who contributed, talking universities and industry together, working together, and also research institutes to work together. that brings one thing where you will let employers to develop the curricula themselves and deliver the curricula themselves. So they are really contributing on very how do you call? They are part of the curricula, and they can customize apprenticeship as they need. So one size fits all does not work. So we found also that. We talked about the standardization of certification. So if you go through an apprenticeship, how you can certify that. We were not really decided if it works an EU-wide certification for all apprenticeships in that direction. So we make it a question mark. And we had some emphases from the countries. In Hungary, the disadvantaged students are attracted to via apprenticeships to new studies and to new works. And in Cyprus, open educational programs also support apprenticeships, so that if you're working, you can do your learning online. And in UK, we heard encouraging female pupils. There are best practices for that, so we can look at them and take it to our countries.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now I would like to give the floor to the workshop rapporteur that will summarize what we have done during the plenary session. So can I call on stage Reinis Zitmanis, the Latvian Digital Champion? But before, don't disappear, because you just come. But there's one question to you. Do you agree on what you have heard, or you walk around then during the Digital Assembly saying, but this workshop is not really what I wanted to say or what I wanted to hear? Is there someone strongly disagreeing so far, or there's agreement in the room? Of course, I vote for the second. I see your happy faces. So, Reinis, the floor is all yours.
Hello. Thank you very much. It's actually a pleasure being here and listening to all of these ideas. And I mean, the events, the e-skills events we had for many years have been like think tanks. And we are back to our top of the pyramid, the digital skills for the digital single market. And of course, is the fact, I mean, the technology is always ahead of us. And it's the same with DSM. I mean, we are now pushing initiatives and legislation that many Europeans are not ready for. And we should push because of the global competition. And the main challenge I see is the one stressed by the Czech Digital Champion, which of course is Europe is aging. And we have to return those people to the market and make use of them as customers for digital services. And e-skills to them do not come naturally. I didn't say anything new, but I will focus on the points taken from today's session. What is a DSM for me? It's a vision, legislation, strategic actions, and communication. We are focusing on a vision here, and strategic actions. Now, workshop is supposed to have proactive views, and we must focus really on things doable, coming back to agreeing and disagreeing for some things, because some of the things, of course, we have heard this year and year before this year, etc. So these initiatives that have to be taken, we should actually name them, because if you name something, it becomes a reality. So the couple of points and outcomes I was asked to underscore for this workshop. So the first one is the motivation, because as we understood, nobody knows exactly what will be there in 2020. So one of the glazed key ingredients is, of course, the identity, sense of being capable and belonging to community. And it would actually be very great if Sonia Livingstone could work on it further, as eventually it is a key factor in many sports. In basketball, I mean, I could play like a Michael Jordan, I'm motivated. In whatever, skateboarding, if I can do tricks, the skate community accepts me, acknowledges me. So the question here is, what is the acknowledgement to such person from e-society? How do we acknowledge them? He's just able to do his work? Is it enough? Is it okay? No. Skill partnerships is my second one, where more IT skilled companies train and acquire the skills one from each other. And I mean, this works with startups, and I don't see why it cannot be extended to more mature labor market. I would like to encourage to develop and push such initiative the same thing we actually do with Code Week. And Code Week is another great example of naming such things and naming such initiatives. They become reality. And the third one is the motivation of employers to develop their employees. So learning never stops, as Oliver Rating said. Unfortunately, it is not the competitiveness, because it's the product or the service on top of the company competitiveness. So skilled personnel is just the positive side effect. So I think that research budget numbers in the surveys and average business says it's all. It's pennies. And here I think we already have one instrument. I will get killed for this, but nevertheless. Social tax returns for such investments would be one answer to this, plus country initiatives like SME training, Grand Coalition, of course, and associations as umbrellas for pushing such initiatives among their members. And the last one is what I heard here today very much, is the fundamental reform in skills assessment. I mean, it's another holy cow, grade versus skill set. How to overcome an education system which is the base of what they have today, so they don't riot. So academia don't riot. Traditional education versus online learning and assessment platforms. The answer could be very simple. I mean, the universities can become them. So we can see extended roles of the MOOCs. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure. This is what I stressed today. This is what I saw important to me. And we will work with the colleagues so I can do a reporting in tomorrow's plenary for this one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If anyone has tips for me to work on this, what to present tomorrow, come to me and tell me. Thank you.
Thank you. So stay just for a second. I know that you have to rush, but stay for a second. But exactly that was the question I wanted to ask to the table coordinators. Are you happy with this summary? Do you want to contribute? You don't need to do it in real time, but just feed back your impressions on this summary so that we have the perfect summary tomorrow in the plenary. So thank you. Thanks a lot again. So now we move to the announcement, and I'm really pleased to make some announcement. If you have to go, now you can go, we are not hijacking you. About new pledges in our Grand Coalition for Digital Jobs. The first pledge is from BBC. And that's an important pledge, is to remove geo-blocking from BBC Academy section and to create extra student placement. This is very good. Well done, BBC. I don't know whether there's a BBC representative in the room. No, but anyhow, well done. CA Technology pledges to organize activities to incentivize young people to get coding and then get them interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. And you remember there was a comment about less and less students being interested in STEM. So well done again, and also a pledge about women in IT. Also well done, CA Technology. Representatives of CA Technology? No. Okay. UK National College for Digital Skills. That is a public-private partnership and a registered charity, pledges to create a center of excellence for the teaching and the learning of higher level digital skills. Well done, and I know there's a representative. No, the last one, not even this one. So these are pledges without representative. Fine. Google pledges to provide additional digital skills training, including to entrepreneurs across Europe, to work in STEM and computer science education with organizations across Europe, focusing on girls, children, and especially from people from lower socioeconomic background and ethnic minorities. Well done. Then EMC, which is present instead. The EMC Academic Alliance pledges to offer for free an advanced technology curriculum on specialized ICT skills to institutions of higher education to introduce new learning and certification options and educate students in information management, cloud infrastructure, and or big data. Well done, EMC, and EMC is here. So I like now to invite EMC and newly formed national coalitions of Belgium and Cyprus, and the coalitions that already exist but will join the grand coalition of UK and the Netherlands, the Tech Partnership and ECP Netherlands ICT, to join me here. So, can the representative... And thank you for launching the applause. Yeah, I think you should first stand in front for a group photo. Stelios, join us. I'm told that I was allowed to join you in the photo. If you allow the European Commission, I don't know, I need to ask. Shall we have another one? Yeah, I know that, but that's why I asked. But I think the answer is yes. Now, let me follow you. Let me stay near to you.
Signed copies. That's a very 20th century.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. So let me now invite you to make a 1-minute statement. And so let me, whatever order, let's start from that side.
Does it work? Yeah. Okay, the Dutch National Coalition is based on an existing public-private partnership and in strong cooperation with the IT trade organization association in the Netherlands called Nederland ICT. My organization is called ACP. It is chaired by Tineke Nederlepos, the Dutch Digital Champion. We have a lot of partners involved. ACP has 180 members, and they are all active in several activities. And the same counts for Nederland ICT, the trade association. And the main objectives are to reduce the digital skills gap and the further development of the information society. And, well, the activities target training and matching for digital jobs, mobility and certification using ACF. We have this radio advertisement at this moment in the Netherlands from one IT organization who is telling that it is e-competence framework proof. So that's very beautiful. And other awareness-raising activities like the Code Week and Pass It On. And in Pass It On, you have IT going into the class, primary and secondary education.
Thank you very much. Goed gedaan, Netherlands. Belgium.
Goed gedaan also. So the National Coalition for Belgium is a little bit what you are doing today. So we have split the whole life cycle of a person, starting with the kids, the Coder Dojo with the concrete objective of having 50,000 kids a year coding. And just to give an example, we had 1 month ago we had 2,000 children doing a mega dojo, so all at the same time with 2,000 PCs, 150 coaches together learning to code and to present the results afterwards. Second part is in primary and secondary school. There obviously there is the impact on the curriculum, where we already had done a little bit in preparation, and that will be discussed on the governmental level as of September. Firstly, secondly, we have made a full educational package which has been sent out to all schools for the kids of the age of 10 to 14 concerning safety online, because we realized that nothing was existing and that we all tell our children that they may not go with strange people offline, but we don't give them any education online. So it has been sent out to all school directors. And why is the age of 14? Because some of the kids who are the most vulnerable are still at primary school at the age of 14. So that was second action which has been done. Third action on the school is we are preparing a kind of a set for schoolmasters, because the schoolmasters, I don't know really what kind of education they get, and it's nothing personal, because they have a lot of passion, but they don't know anything about digital, they don't know anything about financial planning, they don't know how to do change management with their teams, they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to market. So what we have started up is a collaboration between private sector, the consulting sector and the educational sector, and not giving them money, but giving them people. So we make a body of a consultant who always knows it, because that's his job, and we combine it with the schoolmaster, and we make a specific project for that school or group of schools on how to get digital in the coming 5 years. So it's a complete worked out business plan for the transformation plan for each school. That's, by the way, the first action which we are being capable in Belgium to do it on a national level, although education is regional. So all ministers have agreed to for this one to align each other. Then the next step is the internships. How can we avoid losing kids after their studies and making them unemployment? And then the last part is the rest of your life. How can we retrain employees not having the right skills in order to prepare to make them ready?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Joachim Worf. I'm representing the EMC Corporation. For us, it's a great pleasure to present our pledge here today. The pledge is the EMC Academic Alliance. This is a program for universities and colleges where we provide content, and it's not just our content, but it's also content from partners from us, like INLIA and various universities in the region, just to name two of them. What we do is we'll make sure that, because all of the industries are transforming due to the various technology developments like cloud computing, like big data, like Internet of Everything, you name it, the whole digital developments. We provide this knowledge and the skills for the universities and the colleges, for the teachers as well, in order for them to then relay that information and that knowledge to the students, and make sure that the industry in the end has the people that they need. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Please.
The Tech Partnership is a growing network of employers collaborating to create the skills of the digital economy. Now numbering more than 500 companies, we are working together to deliver the skills for 1 million new jobs over the next decade. To do this, we're focusing on 4 objectives. First, inspiring new talent, particularly females, to pursue digital careers. Second, creating new digital jobs for people graduating from school and universities. Third, developing new skills for strategically important growth. And fourth, raising quality by setting standards and accrediting training that meets them. We are very proud to be endorsed as the National Coalition for the UK, and we look forward to working with the EU Grand Coalition partners to support European economic growth. If you want to know more about the Tech Partnership, go to our website, www.thetechpartnership.com.
Well done. Thank you. Stelios.
Thank you, Roberto. Well, we started our effort to create a national coalition for jobs in around March 2014, together with the Ministry of Communications. We have involved all stakeholders in the country, government, services, industry, academia, and NGOs. Last February, actually 2 months ago, we signed an MOU. Actually 38 stakeholders signed it. Our main objective is to match supply with demand. And that's the cornerstone, if you wish, of our action plan. How did we work to come up with the action plan? We first conducted a study to see whether there is any skills gap, and we found out that indeed there is. And we also asked the various stakeholders involved in the process to propose various actions. We did appoint a steering committee to process all of these ideas, and after we did that, we set up 3 working groups, one on education and training, one on certification, and one on awareness. We have the inputs of the 3 groups. They prepared a first draft of the action plan, and we endeavored to finalize it by September. And then we're hoping to have an event to launch officially the National Coalition, hopefully under the auspices of the President later in the year. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Thales. Well done, Cyprus. So before we drive to a close, I would like to ask my colleagues of DG Connect to stand up that have organized all this, because I do the speaking, but they have done the real important work. Can you stand up, please? And can you join me in thanking for the impressive work they have done? I mean, believe me, they really worked hard for months to make sure that we could condense all this and that everything was well organized, running smoothly, and I think you succeeded. So thank you very much for this. Of course, of course. And I really thank you all for participating, contributing. I think it's been a very interesting morning. This is a type of topic, I mean, we can speak for days, I mean. And I don't think it's useless to speak about this, because it's relatively new, and as we all said, I mean, from different angles, it's really crucial. It's at the center of the digital single market. And just a little remark from my side, we're taking this very seriously. I heard the comment, but the Commission is just looking at infrastructure. Well, out of all the actions we have proposed, infrastructure are 2 actions. I mean, the rest is about creating the digital single market. An important point, it's indeed the people. I mean, it's the most important point. So thank you very much for joining, for contributing, and we look forward to work with you in the coming 2 days. So thank you very much. Thank you.